Bismillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Rehan Ahsan, and I'm a student at the University of Michigan Dearborn, as well as a member of the Muslim Student Association, otherwise known as the MSA. With the ongoing pandemic and the situation with social distancing, unfortunately, the university has decided not to allow physical events this year on campus. And with that decision, we won't be having any face-to-face meetings this year or anything like that we used to have. But as a board, we decided not to let that stop us, inshallah. So we decided to move all our events as much as we can onto an online service. So in the upcoming weeks, inshallah, you'll see many announcements and events, links and all that, lectures that we normally used to do on-site. They're going to be online, inshallah. So we encourage you and to attend those, and or the ones that were posted that are going to be listened to. But not only that, but to spread out the information, share with your friends, your family, especially if you know any incoming students, transfer or freshmen. Let them know about it and let them so we can get connected, inshallah. With that said, this new thing we're doing is for Jummah. Again, since we're not allowed to have Jummah on campus, this is going to be our weekly Jummah reminder. So this is, you can listen to anytime you want, and it's just going to be a weekly reminder, that short 10 minutes, inshallah, a general reminder about different topics. The first couple of few I will be giving them, inshallah, but in the upcoming weeks, inshallah, we will have some other board members, maybe some general body members, and even some guest speakers giving them. So look forward to those, and please share them when you get the chance. Other than that, once again, I would like to welcome everyone back. I hope you have a successful semester, inshallah, and just know that the MSA is here for you if you need anything. With that, let's get into today's topic about trials and tribulations. So now we're talking about COVID and everything. You know, this year has been very unique for many of us, right? Like I was talking, one of my friends was saying, like, this is a year that none of us will ever forget, and not just because of how, you know, weird or unexpected it was, but also there's so many trials and how many ways it changed our lives. You know, I remember, and especially, you know, seeing how many people have passed away, unfortunately. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We ask Allah that He forgive them and grant them the highest levels of paradise. But you see so much, you know, not just even in death, but you see so many people suffering financially, emotionally. You know, they don't have jobs anymore. They lost a family member sick. Even now, like, you know, many of us are stuck at home. They're worried about education for their kids, about working a full-time job, and so much problems, right? And it comes back to the idea that why are we being tested? Why are there trials in life? Many people think that the only reason that trials or punishments or tribulations that come are because they're coming to the people who are bad. For example, I remember hearing in the beginning of this that the whole reason COVID-19 is happening is because X and X people did this X and X thing, right? That is because of these people that everyone in the world is getting punished. And that is not necessarily, well, that might have some little aspect to it, but the overall majority is not, that's not true. Because this is a test from Allah, and this is a reminder from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, you know, I was saying, like, so many things we took for granted these last couple of years or our lifetime, right? Like the simple thing of just sitting next to a person and shaking their hand, we took that for granted. Spending time, you know, with our families. This is like, some people say, I remember, like, this is the first time I've been home with my family in like decades. And that's what I'm hearing, right? And we took all these little things for granted, you know, spending time going to our friends' house or our relatives on Eid and everything. So many things that we took for granted. This whole thing brought us as a reminder. And the thing is, people think that only bad people get punished or only bad people go through trials. But in fact, it's quite the opposite. The ones who suffer the most trials and most tribulations in life are not necessarily the bad people, but actually the good and the pious people. And if you look out throughout Islamic history or the history of the world, just look at the lives of all the prophets and give me the name of one prophet who lived a comfortable life, right? You can start with Prophet Nuh alayhi salam. He spent 950 years. He spent all that time, and then when the great flood come, and how many people were on the boat? Just one boat full of people, right? He couldn't even protect his own son and his own wife. Look at Prophet Musa alayhi salam. First it was the trials of the people of Egypt and Pharaoh and all that. Even after Pharaoh and all that, he had the problems with his own Bani Israel. You look at Prophet Ayyub alayhi salam, who was known for his beauty, who was known for his wealth, and Allah tested him by taking everything away from him, right? But he still placed his trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, the ones who hurt him the most, the one who betrayed him the most, were not outsiders at first, but it was his very own brothers. His own brothers threw him into a well. He was sold as a slave, and then he was thrown into prison for years and years. But he never questioned Allah's plan. And by the end of it, he was one of the most powerful men in Egypt at his time, right? And he was known for his beauty too. Alhamdulillah, mashallah. Prophet Isa alayhi salam, we all know the story of how much his mother went through, his cousins, Prophet Zakaria and all of them, how much they went through, and of course how much Prophet Isa alayhi salam went through. He has only very few people who actually believed in him, but still, all the trials and tribulations. And of course, the Prophet that we all love, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, may peace and blessings be upon him. His entire life was that of struggle. From the death of his uncles like Abu Talib and Hamza radiallahu an, to his wife Khadija radiallahu an, to even all of his kids besides Fatima died before even his death, right? The trials he went through, the harsh treatment in Mecca, and seeing his fellow companions, pass away, and so much more. And if you see, even if you look at the companions, who are the very first companions to accept Islam? They were not the rich and the wealthy and the noble people. They were the poor and the slaves people. And if we look at their struggles and how much they went through, Bilal radiallahu an, he was tortured. The parents of Ammar radiallahu an, Yasir and Sumayya, they were killed because they said La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Khabab, it said one of the companions, he asked, I think if one of the people from the slaves to raise his back, and the entire back was burnt out because his master, they used to beat him so much that he couldn't even feel anything in his back anymore. And even after the Prophet ﷺ died, how many trials did Abu Bakr, Umar, Osman, Ali, they went through in their lives, right? But even with all these trials and tribulations, these are the most pious of people. You would think that these are the people that would not be trialed in, right? There's said that one time Umar radiallahu anh, he came on the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and the Prophet ﷺ, he was sleeping and he got up, and on his back there was marks from this bedding, right? Because it was not a very comfortable bedding. And when Umar radiallahu anh, he saw it, he started crying. He said, "Why are you crying, Ya Umar?" He said that these kings and these princes and these nobles, they're living in these fancy palaces and these nice beds and all that, and you're sleeping on this tiny mat and all that, that's leaving marks. Like, if anyone deserved those things, it should have been you. He said, "Yeah, Umar, aren't you happy that they have this world and we have the afterlife?" If you look at this, right, you see it from right here and there that the most pious of people are the ones being tested. And sometimes the tests are not, in a way, hardships or anything like that. Sometimes they can be something good. And there's a story that many of us have heard, right? The story goes about 3 men. One was a leper, which means he had a skin disease. Another one, he was bald, didn't have any hair. And one was blind, he couldn't see. And they lived in a village, and these 3 people were known, and people used to make fun of them. And then Jibreel alayhi salam, he came to the leper, the one who had the skin disease, and he said, I can grant you any wish you want. What is it? So he said, I want to be cured of my skin disease. So he was cured of that. He said, what kind of animal do you want? He said, I want a camel. So Jibreel alayhi salam, he gave him a pregnant she-camel, and that camel gave birth to many other camels, and soon he had an entire flock and of camels. Then he went to the bald man. He said the same thing. What do you want? He said, I want to have hair, beautiful hair, everything. So he got hair. He said, what do you want? I said, I want cows. Same thing. He got a sheaf cow, and then that grew into a nice big pasture. Then he went to the blind man. He said, what do you want? He said, I want my eyesight back. He got his eyesight back. He said, what do you want? He said, I want a sheep. Again, he got a pregnant sheep, and grew out. And soon Jibril alayhi salam, he came after some time as disguised as a different person. So first he came to the leper. He came as an old man who had a skin disease. And he said, I am a traveler, I don't have anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with so much. Can you just give me one camel that I can use on my journeys? And this man, who was so arrogant, he said no. And he's like, but didn't you used to be a leper too? Didn't you also have nothing? He said, no, this is all my wealth, this is all my effort. And Jibreel said, no, this is from your Lord. And he took away all the camels, and he gave him back his disease. The same thing, he went to the bald man, and the bald man said the same thing. And again, Jibreel, he took away the cows, and he took away all his hair. Then he went to the blind man. Same situation, he came as a blind old man, and he said, can I just take a sheep? And the blind man said, yes, you can take as much as you want, anything you want, because he realized that everything that he has was not from him, but rather it was a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we can see from this that sometimes trials and tribulations are not just hardships, but rather they can be easements in our life. Alhamdulillah, this past couple of months we've been at home, we didn't have much activity. We had so much free time, many of us have. Maybe even right now we have so much free time. And that free time is maybe a test for us. How are we utilizing that free time? How are you spending the money we have? There's so many people out there who don't have enough money, and we're just sitting back home wasting our money for no pointless reason, when we can use some of that money to help people. And people are like, I can't donate much. Every person can donate something, even if it's $1, even if it's $5, whatever you can donate. Give in charity, even if it's half a day, right? Or smile is sadaqah. Do those things. Do these small little things, right? Because you are being tested, whether you realize it or not. And don't you want to pass that test? Because again, we have to realize that this world is only temporary, and we have to work for the afterlife. And there's a very famous ayah in Surah Shu'ara, ayah 5. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. For indeed with hardship will be ease. So what every hardship you face through, everything you go, there will be some certain ease that will come through, whether it's in this world or in the afterlife. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله ولكم لسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه غفور رحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.